Who's a good boy? Who's not working for a mob?
I just had the best idea. There should be... Okay, the next expansion DLC should be one where we play as Dexter while Kowalski's not home. And he should absolutely have his own mob ties with his own job sim tied to it. Maybe even a rival cleaner. Hello everyone, and welcome back once again to Crime Scene Cleaner. And what are we waiting around for? Let's just get started. Although I have to say, I'm once again sad that we're kind of nearing the end of this. We have, I believe, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This will be the 7th, which means there's only 2 more Nightmare Mode versions left after this. Well, doesn't hurt to jump in. And this time, it's personal. Literally. The mission Friendly Fire, the one where our connections finally came home and our best friend and his girlfriend and a whole bunch of their friends were murdered. So I really can't wait to see what kind of personal nightmare is conjured here, considering it was already a personal nightmare. Our reward for this is an Ozonator with cat ears and a tail. Start mission. Let's go.
It'll be a long night. Tyler really wanted to get his life together, but some of us will never escape our past. Now, all that's left of him are some memories and his cats.
Wow. His ped turned into an Ethosaur map. This place is so bright and cheery and colorful. Actually, it looks a lot like a cat palace. I mean, look, it's got beams to walk on, places to crawl through, scratching posts, and all the fake mice they could ever hope to catch. Huh. Oh wow, look, even our disposal site turns into the pizza skin, so this acts as our truck in missions where we don't have one. I gotta wonder what this is all about. I mean, is it really just for the cat imagery? It seems so. But I don't remember if they said how long Kowalski and Tyler had been friends. I mean, taking a real loss and turning it into this, that's kind of... I'm not sure how to read that. Alright, well, let's get started. Wow, this is the only way through. A room that's only accessible by crawling. Children and cats, actually very similar, because I feel like they would both absolutely love this. The soundtrack is almost heavenly, like we've entered paradise. And there's, I believe, the sound of cats on it as well. Look, on the coat rack, there's even little collars. I just love the attention to detail and all the little gags in this game. The apartment resting on a cloud over a sunset ocean with fish flying in the sky. Now this is the kind of window you can sit in for hours. Oh yeah, we are ready to fight grime. I didn't even mean that pun, but it's so good. Okay, before we do anything else, we need to find ourselves a place to fill up our buckets. Look at all this. This seems like a good place to do it. Oh, and look. The apartment itself is actually pretty small. It's just super cluttered. Where do I keep buckets these days? Left a mess in the bathtub as well. I'm just gonna let you listen to the soundtrack for a second. The heavenly choir complimenting the music is all just cats. And that seems like a fairly big cat, doesn't it? Huh. Oop. Oh no. I'm actually weighing this up. Oh, there's a box back here. I could have been stuck looking for that for a long time. What I'm thinking now is that I don't want to end up with all the boring work last. So I'm going to clean this bathroom first and then work my way out. But I'm not going to just do all the stains. I'm going to go and probably do like a bunch of garbage first. And actually, now that I look, move the furniture back to its place. 106. 106. So there's probably a proper place to put these boxes back to. Where would we do that? Oh, well, first of all, you're gonna have to come down, sir. Thank you. I don't think that was intended behavior. I don't think you're supposed to grab bodies this way. Off you go. No, nope. Unfortunately, you do have to get in the pizza box, buddy. It's like trying to get a child to take a bath. Like they just put their arms and legs out as you're carrying them to try and grab onto the door frame. Okay, let's begin with the garbage. Look, that keeps startling me so badly. Ding. Wait. Oh, wait, hang on. I just hatched a really weird hunch. A really weird hunch. Where did it go? Right here. Careful not to drop it out. Nope. Well, it probably hints at something, so we'll leave that here for now. Make sure we get those little stains. And I guess just start picking up the garbage. Probably be a good place to start. Some furniture that needs to be broken up as well. This place is a maze. But if I know cats, I know that blood on the ground would not be a deal breaker for them whatsoever in habitating a place. Cats are hilarious because, I mean, I've seen it put this way. You know, dogs will come up to their owner when they're preparing their food and say, wow, they can just get this food whenever, as much as they want, and they do all of this to benevolently feed me. They must be a god. Then a cat says, look at them getting all this food and bringing it straight to me. I must be a god. Cats are jerks. I was just, right before I started recording this, downstairs getting food, and my sister's cat, Otter, was there. And I was petting her for a long time because she likes to be pet in the side bathroom. And I guess, I started to leave. I had been there for like 15 minutes, but I started to leave, and I guess she wasn't done because she ran in front of me to like, I guess warn me, don't do it, bro. And I did. I walked forward, and even though she was facing the other way, she spun around like Yoda when he decided the lightsaber fight in Attack of the Clones, and implanted one claw straight through my jeans, straight through my sock, and did a little pinprick right on my ankle. And that's all she ever does. I mean, our previous cat, Lady, from years ago, she would scratch if she was annoyed. Otter doesn't really scratch. Like, at all, really. But she does do that one little poke. And it's even more malicious, because, like, she is really, really sweet. Like, I used to say that she doesn't have a mean bone in her body. But with Otter, she'll swipe once, immediately retract her hand, and then go for a second one, leaning farther. So you can't even attribute it to just being startled. That's her default move. And it only ever results in either one line or one prick more often. It's very bizarre. Oh wow, it looks like we got milk all over the floor here and all over this thing. We can't open any of these other windows, just the one where we could see the ding label in the clouds. It seems we've got a secret back here. Actually, I think that was there in the base game. There we go. Look at that. We are getting better with that katana. We cleaved it immediately in half. Human organs. Oh my god, the cats are eating people. Well, look, don't eat me. I'm a crime scene cleaner. I can bring you supplies. I can get you all the meat you need. We've just entered into a little shop of horror situation, only probably a lot more adorable. This actually used to be one of those singing fish, but the cats got to it. Right, what next? You know, on the Discord, we have a Q&A section where you can ask a question, and at some point I might answer it. And lately there's been a lot of questions basically saying, like, how do you do the commentary? Like, how do you manage to basically write an essay off the top of your head half the time? And the answer is, I'm sure I'm good at making it look that way. Half the time I start a sentence and I don't even know where it's going. I just speak and hope I find it along the way. To quote Wayne Gretzky. The real answer is, it really just takes practice. Like, people have been asking, like, how to get into YouTube, how to, like, develop commentary, and it really does just take practice. Like, if you listen to me even a couple years ago, I can't stand to listen to myself. Like, I hate my older Let's Plays, especially from before I was doing this professionally. Like, I really wish I had held off on doing Silent Hill 2. Because I really do, it is just kind of, like, more a reaction video, where it's just Silent Hill 2 is happening, and I'm in the background going, like, you know, that's creepy, man. Oh, wow, that's cool. I can never stand to hear myself more than, like, a year or so back. People are always like, how come your voice has changed so much, like, over the years? And the answer is, it hasn't. Like, the microphones have also been a theory. Like, well, maybe you just got new mics. The index mic has been the same the entire time, because it's the built-in one. I used the same mic from, like, 2016 all the way up until the end of 2023. When it stopped having the ability to take AC power, so I bought this one, which is basically the next step up from the same mic, so it works more or less the same way. It's not in the mics, it's literally just in terms of, it's just practice, it's just confidence, and it's just developing the style so that I know what feels right coming out of my throat. These big stains in the center of the ground are always the scariest, but they're also the easiest to clean, especially on tile. Like the last mission, the escape room, we spent probably more time on puzzles than we did on actually cleaning, but it also slowed it down that it had a whole lot of carpet everywhere. But yeah, as far as like off-the-cuff commentary where... Hello? This really is a dream world. What does it take to enable physics? Not much, apparently. Or quite a lot? I'm not sure which way this goes. But anyway, as far as being able to just like keep the commentary flowing, that also comes with practice, but a big part of it really is just looking at what you feel as you're playing and vocalizing it. I mean, there's so much that I'll finish a video and think, how did I not talk about that? Sometimes I'll even go in post and just add a line or a sentence because it's like, I can't put this out without talking about this. But anyways, it basically just comes down to vocalizing your thoughts and just kind of examining them as you go and seeing where those lead. And eventually, you know, at the risk of sounding redundant, you'll find that you come across many of those thoughts again, but if you can just remix them, that's how you kind of turn them into jokes that you can carry forward. We're basically curling every time we try to use the mop in here. But yeah, it basically comes down to just identifying what it is you like or don't like about a game and vocalizing those thoughts. All the things that you're probably thinking anyway, but just wouldn't feel are worth it to comment on, just go for it. I mean, it couldn't hurt, and you get the really good stuff when you examine what you like and don't like. First identify, then examine. That stream of consciousness goes a long, long way. Let's buff our garbage bags. Because it's not like my brain is just spitting out a whole essay when I look at something. It's that I'm looking at it, pointing out, hey, that's a thing, and then going, hey, you know, this kind of reminds me of this other thing, and that connects other thoughts. It's all about connecting thoughts. Actually, the same could be said of probably most things in life. So for example, just before this, I recorded episode 5 of Off, and that included a segment where, you know, after these very happy and upbeat soundtracks for the entire game, we got just metallic grinding and like steam noise and a chorus in the distance. And I thought, wow, this is kind of like Silent Hill 2. And then I thought, like, wow, so what is it about having that whiplash in mood that is so disturbing? Like, it seems a tool that games use to intentionally have something that is so much more hostile after a certain length of time has passed in a completely different mood. And so it's just little things like that. It doesn't have to be anything super deep or profound. Oddly enough, like, you probably just saw a bunch of cuts before this. This is one of those times where I have the most difficulty maintaining a stream of consciousness. Huh. Because it's just trying to do a task while trying to say something very specific. I think when it comes to experiencing emotion in media, and in general, there's a lot of underlying thoughts that make up those very simple things like or dislike, or the feeling you attribute it to, things that aren't necessarily tied to immediately identifiable words. And so the more you connect things, and especially the more you vocalize them, like, I'm not just talking to the audience, I'm thinking out loud to myself. Once again, I don't always know where a sentence is going when I start it. That's led me to, like I was saying with the soundtracks, I've started to realize that in a lot of ways, media is about contrasts. This is a game that was very disturbing, but also very grounded from the start. And so these things, it would just be a weird game if it weren't part of this game, the Nightmare mode. But because it is, because we're coming in with the precedent of what these levels are attached to, and I guess what in-universe are real-world events, it allows us to kind of speculate more. It makes it more than the sum of its parts, more than just the design or the feelings it gives you, because it's working off of past experience. That's why I also think that so much of horror is not just what's happening, but the circumstances it's happening in. Like, something that I am a huge proponent of is the idea of morning horror. Horror taking place not at night, not at dusk, but actually when the sun has just risen. When the orange light of the sun is kind of filtering through the trees, it's just that dull, faint tinge to your house where now you can see again, just barely, but there's still shadows all over. And in a horror setting, it may feel like you've made it, but somehow it doesn't. I've actually noted that one of the creepiest times for me is when I've just finished doing a reading video, and I go down for food or water as the sun is coming up. There's like a weird stillness. For some reason, the house seems to be just a bit creakier. And I don't know, it feels like... I guess I've heard soldiers say that it's always right before you get on the helicopter that you're convinced you're about to take a bullet. Maybe that's how it is for horror situations. When you feel like you've made it in the morning, that's when you expect the ghost to pull something. Case in point, I had no idea I was going to say any of that when I started this massive run-on paragraph. Actually, is it still run-on if it's a paragraph? Who knows? Let's ask a scientist. Do you see what I mean? Oh, right, I didn't even circle back to my original point. That's the other thing. You have to remember to try and remain at least somewhat cohesive. Not in a video like this, but in general. So, like, if you feel that fear in the morning, there's probably some prior experience to draw off of for that. And it may not even be immediately apparent why that is. Like, I have talked about in the American Truck Simulator videos how I love driving in the very early morning when the sun is coming up because it kind of reminds me of when I would get ready for those old scout trips. I was up at a time when I normally wouldn't be, seeing my friends outside of normal hours, and there's an excitement to that. And those little associations will tie themselves to any number of things, which means you can apply them in any number of ways. They become a tool in the emotional arsenal. Let's see what you're going to tell us. The pattern is in the shape of a paw print.
The Wicked One will start looking for me as soon as he finds out I'm dead. I'm sorry. I don't have 9 lives like you. I had 1, and I fucked it up.
Oh, babies. There's been talk of a demon, a wicked one, running throughout this whole thing. I've long suspected that it could be me, and now I'm sure of it. After all, who else comes looking for you once you're dead? Huh, now there's a thought. We could almost be seen as the ferryman loading them up into our boat to take them down the river Styx. Oh, we've got so much cleaning still to do. And why is milk a tougher stain than blood? Alright, well, since we're doing a podcasty type episode, you know what really grinds my gears? The way copyright works on YouTube, and I know there's like a million videos on this, and I'm not saying anything new, but it really is hostile to creators. I mean, I understand that this is basically the compromise where content or copyright holders would just kind of take videos down years ago, but my god, it truly is awful. Like, so many games, especially indie games, have content in them that is not made by them. And I've had creators like tell me, like, no, the creator said that it's fine for people to monetize it. Like the creator of the tracks, like we got their permission. And it's like, okay, you got their permission. I've had parts muted in videos, and then I had people tell me in the comments, like, oh no, you didn't have to mute that, the whole soundtrack is free to use. And I'm like, tell that to YouTube. Because if you see something that's muted, it's because I uploaded it, it got content claimed, and so I had to take it down, re-upload it, or re-render it first, which takes hours. I rarely do it preemptively. It's only if there's like a song that is so clearly not going to work that I mute it prematurely. But every other time, it's because I've already had the problem, and I am not going to bother appealing it. That was why I played Subnautica with the sound off. And that's a soundtrack that you explicitly can use, but, like, you know, I upload every day. I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to fight this thing. I'm not going to risk losing my job over... Because if you appeal and it doesn't work, you get a copyright strike. There's a difference between Content ID notices and copyright strikes. Where with Content ID, usually it just means you can't make money on the video, which means I'm not uploading it. But if it's a copyright strike, that goes against your account, and if you get too many, you lose the account, you get banned. That ain't worth it. That just ain't worth it. God, it is so weird now that we are literally punching bloodstains out of the carpet. And I guess the coiled rope that makes up these giant scratching posts. But the thing about Content ID is that anybody can make a claim. Anybody can make a claim, and so there's bots that will just claim things that they think they can get away with against channels that they know won't do anything, which is like most of them, all but the biggest ones really. And even if it ends up getting undone, they get the money for a while. And so if you just do that and spam it all over the internet, you can make basically free money. it is basically stealing at that point. Because a lot of the time, it's not even the actual content ID holders, it's just randos. I remember years ago, there was a Nerd Cubed video where he uploaded, I think it was like some Portal 2 gameplay or something, and it got content ID'd, and he couldn't make money on it. And it said that the video couldn't be monetized due to a claim from Valve Corp or whatever its business name is. And so he was like, that is weird and that doesn't sound like Valve. So I think what he ended up doing was he actually contacted Valve directly, and they were able to resolve it after they said like, oh no, this isn't us. But that's the thing, is there's huge hurdles to go over to appeal a claim and actually make it right, and huge consequences if it doesn't go your way, which is all automated. And there's no barrier to entry for somebody to claim something and just get all that free money. It's absolutely absurd, and it's been this way for years, like over a decade at this point. And there's just no will to fix it. Okay, that's enough for that. Like, it really makes certain things so frustrating, especially when everything is down to the wire, because again, I upload daily. Like, at the time of this recording, yesterday, I was supposed to put up a video on a game called Bad Cheese. And that's a game that has like a 1920s style, and throughout the game, there's like old songs that can be heard faintly playing on radios.
All work, no play.
And so that game was given to me, I got a key from the developer like a few hours before release, essentially, like the day before. And so with stuff like that, I try to get it out as quickly as possible, day of if possible. So I kind of scrambled, recorded the whole thing, edited the whole thing. Eventually it's morning, I gotta start the render. I fall asleep, I wake up. Okay, it's a couple hours to showtime, but that's fine because this thing is ready to go. I upload it, and content ID. Because the songs in the game are not copyright free. So aggravating, so I had to find another video and put that up that was finished. And it was just a whole like last minute scramble as I was getting ready to go out the door for the plans that I had made that day. And I have these moments just every once in a while. It's super aggravating. Oh, we never cleaned this bathtub, that's gross. Goodbye. No, 93% of blood gone. Ooh, there's a dream catcher here.
I made some bad decisions. Then my life became messier than your litter box. I can't be with you forever.
I don't even know what to say, that's awful. This has got to be the saddest one yet. Sorry, Ducky. Okay, at a certain point, I'm going to have to press Q and see where these boxes go. We've got to build a fort. We've got to build a kitty box fort. No wonder these things don't have physics. Can you imagine how annoying this would be if they did? Okay, let's build. Let's do this Minecraft style. I can't believe they're actually having us do this, but here we are. I mean, I suppose we don't technically have to. But, I mean, we're going to. We've gotten every other one of these things perfectly so far. I think I'm going to leave this one of all levels. Only problem is, it's kind of finicky to put things between things here. Like, it is a perfect fit, and you kind of just have to get it close enough. Still, it's starting to look like a pretty fun fort, I must admit. I mean, it's like what I was saying earlier. There's very little difference between what children like and what cats like in terms of architecture. But But here's the thing, I do take steps to kind of protect myself against copyright problems. And it's the worst times are when that's not enough. Because, you know, usually what I'll do is I'll actually use the Patreon as incentive to render early, to upload early, and just kind of see if it does anything. Because, you know, it doesn't matter if I can't monetize a Patreon video because it's monetized through patrons. I don't even worry about ads. Patreon videos don't even have ads unless I'm forced to. And sometimes I do that. Sometimes a video is up for like days and there's no problem. And then I'll be out at like an event or some family thing or whatever on the day of release. Mind you, after something has been up for days saying no problems found. And then I'll just get like a notification on my phone from Gmail saying video cannot be monetized. Because like it came out, maybe it's even been up for a few hours, and Content ID just all of a sudden decided that, oh no, now that it's actually up, now that you should be earning on this, now it's not making money because Content ID. And it's like, it definitely seems targeted, where it's like they just wanted to wait until a time then when they hoped it wouldn't be noticed and just filed a claim. I think those are the times it's probably like a manual claim made by a person. Because it's like, okay, it's out, and whether or not you resolve this, it's probably going to be like at least a couple hours, and during that time, we just get whatever. And they just kind of hope it won't be noticed for a while. There have been videos that I just pulled because of that. Like, I did that with Amnesia: Machine for Pigs. Because it was up for a little while, like a couple days or even weeks, I don't remember, before they claimed a song that was in it towards the end. And at that point, I don't have... Because I keep all the raw footage for like a day or two after a video goes live. So that, specifically, if something like this happens, I still have all of the tracks independently. There's a huge bloodstain on the ceiling. And I can mute like just the audio of like the game while preserving the commentary, because YouTube gives you the option to mute a song, but it's far from perfect. It's basically trying to like work around your voice, and it causes distortions. So I'd rather be able to do it cleanly and just mute the game. After a couple of days or after a couple of weeks, that's it. That final rendered video is the only version that exists, and there is no improving it. There's no muting just the game. There's nothing that can be done, so I just pulled the video. I just said nope. Alright, here we go. I think it is still available to watch on Patreon. Like, I would never make it so that there's just no way to watch a video and it becomes lost media. I do actually have, like, contingencies for, like, what would happen if YouTube goes under. And, like, you know, there's always some kind of crisis with YouTube where they're making some change that completely screws people over. But basically the plan, if YouTube were to go under, or if it were to become, like, basically unusable through policy, is I would just put everything on Patreon, and there would be, like, a $1 tier where you get videos on their regular schedule. And then the other tiers would still work the same, like at $3 you get early access to things, at $5 you get exclusive videos, and it would just work that same way. But you would be basically a regular viewer for $1 a month. One thing that I do still have to do is go back and back up some of the older videos, because the overwhelming majority of the content that's been uploaded to this channel and to the Patreon is backed up in multiple places. I have literally a 16 terabyte, a 24 terabyte hard drive, and they are both loaded up with almost everything I've ever made. I just need to go back and download certain things from like 2022 and before, and I've already started the process by downloading like some of the bigger videos from back then. The idea being like, if my house burns down, if YouTube goes under, all at the same time, would there still be like a librarian video archive? And the answer as of right this moment is yes. And I am always expanding the redundancy. The thing is though, like it really, I've talked about this a couple of times, but it really hits me big in the storage. Like, I think right now there's like 11 or 12 terabytes worth of footage. And that's not even the raw footage, that's just the final rendered products. And I've had a few people tell me like, dude, you're like not compressing this stuff enough at all. And honestly, I would say that I'm compressing entirely too much. I mean, it's not uncommon for a video to be like in the 8 to 12 gigs range for like a normal video. I mean, granted, they're high quality files. Like, they're all 1440p 60 FPS. Some of them are 4K. And that's an increasing number ever since a few months ago when I made it my policy that any VR videos benefit massively from being in 4K. The idea is, like, if I have these backups, if I ever have to re-upload, that's like the master copy. And if you have artifacts on the master copy, when you upload, now it's doing compression on its end, so it's compression on top of compression, and it just looks awful. And you have to consider, so many of the games that I play are dark and full of shadows. In other words, the things that compression algorithms love to squash down and add a bunch of artifacts. So yeah, I always render on the high end of bitrate. Standard is like 20 megabits per second or 14 megabits if I can get away with it, or like 24 or 28 if it's 4K. But that results in a whole ton of storage. A whole ton of storage being needed. Which is not prohibitively expensive for the channel, but it is... You know, it just sucks, you know? It sucks to say, like, okay, I'm gonna go and spend $300 for an added bit of redundancy for something I already have, but you know what? If there were ever to be some calamity where there's huge data loss, well, then it would be far, far worth the investment. Alright, we're starting to chip our way through this. Eventually, though, we're gonna have a problem where we're just kind of hunting down those last few boxes, like that one I just saw on the shelf. Could have eluded me for quite some time. You there. Wow, that was a fossilized fish. Still probably tasty, though. Any more boxes around here? Not that I can see. We've got all the blood. There's still trash somewhere. And I do not see it. What I do see is that box on top of the fridge. There we go. Let's see what's up in the rafters. A whole bunch, that's what? Come on. But yeah, I know that a lot of people have said that there's problems they have with YouTube because I think it's having, like, ID required to use sites like YouTube. And it's all, like, yeah, it's one of those things where they phrase it as protect the children, and with all the danger that kids legitimately are in online, I can see the logic. I don't know, it seems like the whole world is just moving in the direction of just over-policing on the grounds of protect the children. I stay apolitical in videos, like 99% of the time, unless it's like directly relevant to what's happening in a game, and then only as far as what's in a game. I bombed Syria many, many times on the channel, although that wasn't really a statement. That was just bombing Syria because the A-10 go Bert. What was I talking about? Even if I haven't directly talked about it, it's probably been pretty clear from some of my commentary in the past that I am left-leaning. I believe in a social responsibility to care for each other. I think that sometimes our wants need to be put aside for others' needs, and that basically people should contribute what they can and take what they need. And where I'm going with this is that I often believe in practical solutions to problems, which sometimes puts me at odds with online leftists, because a lot of the time practical solutions are like the more boring Hank Hill solutions, and not necessarily revolutionary or shocking ones. Because a lot of things really do have simple answers with just a little bit of empathy applied. And there are certain things, like certain issues and topics, that people turn their brains off for. And protect the children is gotta be the big... It's one of the big ones. It's gotta be the big one. Because when you say that something is to protect the children, you can get people to agree to anything. People will give up anything for that and not think at all about any of the greater ramifications. there are online child predators, and your kids are not safe on these sites and on these forums. And that is a true statement. It 100% is. It is an issue that is worth looking into and finding better ways to protect them. Because you can't necessarily just say, oh, well, the parents should be parents. Yeah, they should be, but they won't be. And you need to make policy based on practical reality and not just what you think people should do. But when these policies are enacted, you need to look at what they actually do. What actually changes as a result of this? Don't just look at it as, okay, we're doing this to protect the children, so the result is increased protection for children. You have to look at the words. You have to look at what specifically is happening. And what these ID laws basically mean is you're putting your identity, your online identity, and tying it to these services, to your history, which creates an online footprint, which can be used by companies, can be used by governments, for anything. And when we do everything on the internet, you're essentially volunteering a whole profile on yourself, and that's been something that has been building for a long time. Like, having to put in an ID for YouTube is something that is just one small part of a greater whole. Nothing good ever happens quickly in this world, and when something like this is just kind of rammed through like this, you really need to take a step back and ask if this is actually a measure that's going to suddenly help the children, or if it's something that they always wanted to do and they're using this issue as a Trojan horse for support. Hint, it's pretty much always that. And you also have to look at the greater trend in the meantime. Look, there's a box on the shelf over there. I'll tell you what else I just found, look! It's a mouse hole with a little door, that is adorable! Oh, that's where Winslow lives. Wow, I haven't thought about that show in years. But anyways, when you look at the bigger picture, because none of this stuff happens in a vacuum. When you look at the bigger picture, you see where all this is headed. Like, for example, payment processors. Recently, they had their whole thing with Steam where they decided, like, okay, we're not going to process payments for these games or whatever because they are NSFW, and that's not good for, like, advertisers or image or whatever the justification was. And so now, effectively, you can't make those games, or at least you can't make them expecting to make your money back, and that'll extend to different platforms. It's essentially a ban on a type of content via financial strangulation. And so eventually you decide, okay, well, also LGBT content is NSFW content. So now you're already limiting exposure to ideas like that. And so it's a lot easier to spread like false narratives about people like that. And eventually you reach the point of being LGBT makes you a child predator. And that's another one of those things where once you reach that point, again, people turn their brains off for stuff like that. And so you have a lot of scared, stupid people going, whoa, get him out of here! And yeah, that's how that happens. Basically, if you really look at what companies are doing and what governments are pressuring companies to do, what you see is that it's less about protecting children and more about having the tools to control narratives. And I think I got onto this from like copyright or something, I don't know. I think the cat soundtrack kind of fried my brain and I got off track. But now we have another problem. We are missing 5 boxes. Well, there's one. Where can we put you? Over in this corner. This is going to be... Oh, well, you're another one right there. You're right there. And then there were 3. Alright, let's hunt these things down. I'm not going to use Q too much. You were up there. I saw you earlier. Come on, get down. Yep. Get down. I might have to... Oh, I was just about to get out the mop and smack you down. You go there. Only 2 more. And it's really going to throw me off if 1 or more of those are not actually boxes, because that's also a possibility. Look at this guy. That is remarkably well preserved. Or some kind of carving, I don't know. This game has a really weird number of fishbone-based art assets, doesn't it? If we look around, yep, it is all boxes. Well, of course, the hardest to find boxes will be the ones hidden in plain sight, camouflaging themselves. But we know that it's a box because we saw where it goes. Ah, right here. There we are. Should have known it was in one of the side areas. And boop. There we go. That counts as a piece of trash. I thought it was a little kitty dish. Alright, well, that's 100% of everything clean, but we are not done yet because we have still yet to find the last music box. So where's that going to be at? It's got to have something to do with this. Nothing in the microwave up here. How about the oven? Well, there's a gathering, that's for sure. You guys always show up in the absence of cats. Oh, there's a particular place. I was right, though. Haha, okay. It did nothing. I don't know what I was expecting. Oh, taxi. We can interact with you. What? Look at you, you got a cigarette in your mouth. We're in a black and white empty version of the apartment. The real one now left totally empty. Is there anything sadder than an empty living space that someone until recently inhabited? I mean, everything that they were, all the memories in these walls, now completely stripped of their personality, everything that made it theirs. And someone who didn't know them wouldn't know, but to someone who did, the absence is overwhelming. We're the only thing with color. Here, let me pick up after you. Is this meant to represent him crossing over? He was with cats and now he's with lions. But the color is restored. And there's our prize. I probably should have expected it, but I really didn't expect it to take a turn like this. I just really appreciate this game's unique tone. You know, the way it actually does explore this side of things. How it's able to be silly and somber at the same time, the counterpart to creepy and comfy, I suppose. But it's something I've been taking more and more notice of recently. amethyst is just a lullaby. In the end, I guess what this one is about is the ones who are left behind. In this case, the ones who aren't capable of understanding even what happened or where they went. All they knew is that they had their lives, they had their safety and security, and all of that is thrown away. As far as they're concerned, just at random. Now we gotta walk back. Or we could probably take the shortcut and leap off. Or at least I assume that's a shortcut. Can we actually land on the clouds below?
I am back.
Okay, sure, end it with a joke, why not? But yeah, I do believe that's everything. The place was in disarray, and we've said it right. A palace, really. Fitting of our kitty overlords. Christ, why did this level get me so much? I think that's all. Yeah, I spent a lot of time alt-tabbed out on that one, but this is actually going to be really, really short. I didn't have a whole lot to do in this one, so maybe we'll do one more. And we got the Necator, which is really the most important thing. And do you want to wait until later for me to start applying that? No, obviously you don't. The achievement is called Eye of the Tiger. Our wall is nearly complete. Obviously we're gonna pet Dexter right now.
Don't worry, Dexter. Ladies are more into good boys.
Certainly are. Now let's see what our next job is. Party's over. Oh, that was a big one. Okay, no, I remember that. That's the one that's like multiple houses, or rather a house and several cabins, and the land in between them. You know, what the heck? I enjoy playing this. Let's go see what's out there. Party's over.
It'll be a long night. This land is much older than we can imagine. One would say if you want to throw a party, you don't need history classes. At least, not to wake up any ghosts.
Wow. Circling birds waiting to devour what they can scavenge, red skies. The sight of a relaxing weekend turned into an internment camp, a prison. Oh, look at that. Ghost balloons. And they don't even seem to allude to something that needs to be brought back here. It's just how they are.
A key? Where am I supposed to find a key in this mess?
The difficult way, that's how. Are those stakes? Oh yeah, now we can train with them. We actually came at just the right time for a boxing glove. Oh, but I forgot to change the skin. Hang on. The Ozonator. Where's this? Okay. Let's get you to start working early. So if we go to you... It's a Curfus. They turned the Ozonator into a Curfus! Yes! Oh, we need to be able to buy one of these in-game now. And it acts as a voice as well. Alright, well, I'll just leave you to it. 7% right off the bat. In the meantime, we need to find someplace we can fill up our bucket. Hashtag there's no tomorrow. Living it up, living it up. I love how the themes of every Nightmare level do sort of relate and form a conclusion to the themes of the level in game. You know what's now occurring to me? Every level in this game is essentially about being some level of out of touch. We're dealing with the aftermath of people who had their own goals in life, who were trying to do their own thing, and we're just here to scoop up the result. We're essentially the Grim Reaper, where their path is such an obvious conclusion to us. But all we are is an indifferent observer here to do our job. Ritual at Dracolder. I can't really read that. Alright, let's keep exploring. We gotta find that key. Can't enter there. Wow, these cabins are like under real construction now. I mean, this one was being worked on by workers in the base game, but now it's a shell. And I believe this was the path obscured by the hedge maze. Now, I'm pretty sure this ended in a proposal site. And it still does. Funny how the important bits of a location seem to remain the same in Nightmare mode. And there's our key. Can we... We can't put that back. Kind of feels like maybe we should, but it doesn't seem like there's anything for us to mess with here. Okay, let's start looking into cleaning this. Take that from you. And just start bringing you back. I'm not going to worry about cleaning objects right now. See, it's outdoors, it's dark, it's foggy. And I'm starting to see things. So, you know, finding objects in the dark is getting increasingly difficult. No, seriously though, you guys all saw that, right? For a second I was starting to think like, oh, there's mannequins over there? And as my eyes focused on it, it was gone. I just noticed this sign. Loud Valley. Loud Valley. Well, at least they're still having fun with it. There we go, the rusted key gets us in here. But much like a prison yard, this all works in tiers. It also runs on tiers. Each of you is holding one of these objects. An unholy communion. Now, what was over here? It's almost like a torture site. We still haven't found a place where we can actually place a bucket. I'm guessing that's going to be like in the house, maybe in the cabins. This thing does not want to get cleaned, does it? Let's knock you over and place you back. It doesn't actually seem to matter where you are. Whoa. Well, I don't think these cuts of meat need to be put away. It may be disturbing, but it's not illegal. And even in our dream state, we're concerned very much with what legal actually means. Now, we do have the issue of... I don't think these need to be drained. That probably just needs to be cleaned up, right? So that means that you're coming with us. I also just saw something back there I can maybe use. There is a dream catcher hanging up there. That's 2 out of 14 bodies. That is ridiculous. Whoa.
Why have you called us? This place is already ours.
Every 10 years, this land needs to run red with blood. And the chaos must reign. That is the law. All hail the wicked one. All hail the wicked one.
It's going back to the story from the Five Nights at Freddy's map. I mean, sorry, the Italian Job. So there are several stories possibly connecting. Well, yeah, of course, the Wicked One. A blood sacrifice is needed, which, you know, if we continue on with the idea that we are the Wicked One, I guess we're the god of destruction that benefits from all this bloodshed. The thing that connects it all. I mean, after all, these things may be horrible and we may roll our eyes at it, but if it weren't happening, we wouldn't be getting paid. And then where would our daughter be? On a certain level, we're glad this is happening, and the bigger the bloodbath, the better. Was that you? Are you telling me you're done? Oh.
Locked tight. Looks like I'll need to find a key.
That needs a key, too. Alright, let's get you. I mean, look at this thing. Is there... There's no drain in the center. This probably becomes a pool every time it rains. Oh no, it is actually a pool. That's kind of neat. It's a pool that they built seating and heat into. Never mind, this is actually a pretty sweet pad. Why is that thing the guy was holding rolling? The first one was really sad, so I guess it's good for the channel that we've got something that is really kind of spooky now. Alright, you get in there. It's going to be a little while before we can even begin the cleanup at this rate. I saw something further back past the gates that we can maybe exploit. Here we go. Maybe if we move this chair, we can find something inside. Either a place to fill up or a key. I guess we can't fill up from that sink. But there is something back there, and we had the ability to go out and around. And find something else entirely. What's this? Well, we may need this keg for something, yes. Look at this! It's a whole collapsed mine or something. And we've got to collapse it even further. Secret spot. Not only are we cleaning the bodies, it says we've got to prepare the ritual. Oh my. It really did have to be on this site. No. Darwin! Darwin, thank goodness you prepared the music box for me. I can't even imagine the things you had to go through to find it, considering how difficult the last one was. Here, let me take that for you. I see you and your buddy Horror Baby were trying to entertain yourselves while you waited with his archery set. Quartz. See, hearing that music, I can't help but think in accordance with the theme of the original map, that we had a bunch of drunken idiots who got themselves killed through various means throughout the place, but mainly doing dumb stunts and misuse of gas and fire. And so it was almost one of the more comedic levels. However, I just can't help but think in these cases, especially with that soundtrack, that, you know, for every time you hear about someone in the news who died doing something dumb, drunken antics, frat hazing, whatever, I can't help but think that somewhere there's video of them that's not unlike video of me. Stuff that's old VHS tapes of a kid riding down the hall on a scooter or a tricycle. I don't know, drawings that were put on the fridge that are still in a box somewhere. I don't know. Doesn't necessarily mean they were any smarter, just food for thought. Even when somebody gets what they deserve, and I am not somebody to say that nobody deserves to have bad things happen to them at all, but if you think back, you have to get to a point of, okay, but did they have to deserve it? Or could things have been different? If you look at things from that perspective, I don't know, maybe there's ways to change even our behavior now. Because everything influences everything. I don't even have commentary. You died worshipping at the altar of Russian grandma. Oh, come this way. Maybe this is a reference I'm not getting. Either way, getting your body out of here is going to be something of a challenge. We gotta find where we can take you. Actually, this gate will probably open from the other side, right? Yep, just plop you down right there. And let's get your buddy in the meantime. Nope, don't fall in the fire. That's rude. And I'll have to smell you for the entire duration of this mission. But okay, we now have a bucket connection. Those things are appearing everywhere. In fact, they're showing up around the car now. And in the back, that is really spooky. I love that so much. It's a dark and hazy map, so visibility is already limited, and every once in a while you notice that they're just around. Like over there. They sort of remind me of the shadows in the Metro games. Yeah, I hear you. I know you want me to clean up the mess that you prepared. I mean, you prepared for cleaning. I know you didn't make the mess. There you are still. Now that I've seen them, I can't stop seeing them. There were probably instances earlier on where they were there. But anyway, that's 5 out of 14 bodies. Still 9 to go. And what we need to do is start clearing up half. Ah, I should have opened this. There we are. I don't suppose there's anything that needs to be done about Grandma, right? Now we are going to run around and start distributing the buckets. Because now that things are open, we're going to be moving pretty rapidly. So you go in this cabin. We'll put one right here. And then we'll bring a third bucket up to the house. And I'm hoping that by the time we're done cleaning all of this, maybe there will be a key for us to get into the house. That'll be a much easier central location for us to get some water from. There we are. And you have been crying out for this for a long time. A bloodied hand places these things everywhere. Unfortunately, paper seems to be the one thing we can't clean in this particular moment. What did I do with that bucket? You're still... Oop. No reaction to that, really. It was really funny when I accidentally booped you in the pools in the beginning of the game. Okay, I think this is going to be one of those times where we have to tidy up first. Wow, we're even removing the stakes. I mean, I guess we may as well take them, right? Oh god, we are going to be eating for so long off of this. You don't need to be broken up. You just need to be cleaned and pushed back into place. This meat is going to go so bad. What's in your way?
I can't put it back like that.
What do you mean? What's still dirty? I mean, aside from the huge slab of rotting pig on it. Oh, there we go. There's a little bit of blood in the corner. Put you back. And you probably go in places like this. So let's just find all the chairs. Well, that one's broken. You have actually some pretty scary sounds along with the cute ones. In fact, I would say you trend a lot more scary than the others. There's so much blood on this map. And the balloons are haunted. Those two thoughts aren't connected, but for a moment in my head they felt connected. Which means there's got to be something to it, right? Some kind of intuition? Hire me, FBI. I'm really impressed with the physics on share breaking, and I feel like this developer could go on to a great career in the in-demand market for share-based physics destruction games. Come on. It's incredible how much can fit in a garbage bag. Oh wait, you know what I keep forgetting? I keep forgetting to wet the sponges. I keep forgetting to wet the sponges so that they get the detergent on them. Big deal right now. Let's get all that, and that, and that. You know what, I could actually use you. Down about here. There's so much that needs to be cleaned. I'm feeling... See, it's weird. I'm overwhelmed by this, and yet at the same time, it's a lot easier to clean than it was when I was doing the main game, mainly because I'm actually using detergent and utilizing all these new tools and upgrades. So it's like, it still looks like, oh my god, this is going to take hours, but it's not nearly as bad as it was. And I find that as soon as I start working on an area, it's pretty much done. Look at the Curfus Ozonator. This is what I always see from Curfus. It's like they're absorbing the souls of the ones this blood poured out from. It is adorably demonic. We are making so many trash bags. I've always thought, like, these wild parties must be an absolute nightmare to clean up after. I don't know why anyone does it. Let's go. I'm somebody who's never really understood the appeal of, like, parties, like big parties like this in general. Because, look, it's too loud to talk to anyone. Everyone's drunk, which, you know, not only do I not drink, but also when everyone else is, it kind of makes them impossible to talk to because it's like those people aren't even really there. It's just, they're all replaced by the same drunken idiot times 100. I just don't understand how that's fun. I don't understand how it's fun to be in a deafening space where you can't move and everyone's throwing up or passed out and there's a huge mess. Like, that's why I can't stand going to any event where there's like loud music playing, because you can't talk to anyone there, so there's no social aspect. You're just kind of sitting there, and if you want to have a conversation, you have to scream over it, and your voice is so hoarse by the end of the night, and your ears are ringing. And yet it seems to have mass appeal, Ghost in the Pool. I don't know, it seems like the most social events are actually built to be as asocial as possible, oddly enough. Like, that's the thing. This isn't me being an introvert. I mean, I am an introvert, but that's not even what this comes down to. It comes down to the fact that you can't actually really hang out with people at these things. We are filling this mop so quickly. We filled the bucket. That's insane. Do you know how long it takes with these detergents to do that? And you know what it comes down to? I think it's because what it's doing, yeah, it's taking what it considers to be a huge amount of blood all at once. So this wouldn't be too big a stain most of the time, but this game must have like some measure of density. So it's like, yeah, we basically just picked up an ocean. This is done. Apparently we've wiped out a large portion of the blood on the map. Or at least in the outdoor area. It says so. You know what am I doing? Let's get the pressure washer. Why haven't I been doing this out here the whole time? Look at it just melt off. There we go. That's how you clean a pool. It's not just the balloons, it's the ghosts of the pool toys. Although, I guess what you could say is that it's inflatables that return from the dead? Inflatables and shadow stick figures, those are the two things that get an afterlife, not people. Well, unless you had kitties, then you go to Lion Valhalla. What am I talking about? You know, this game really does feel like a modern art piece at times. I mean, look at this one. Can't you see this as an exhibit? It's a chair with a partially cut wedge of cheese on top and a bloody duck beneath. There's a statement here. I know it. I just need to find it. Okay, that's it for you. Somebody tried to clamber out. For them, there really was no tomorrow. There's gotta be a key somewhere, man. Actually, I seem to recall that finding all these kegs was something of a chore in the original map. We're definitely gonna have to go over this with UV, though. That much is very clear at this stage. Think ahead. We're gonna toss you in here, and presumably it's a certain radius that doesn't care about walls and such. We're gonna go get one of those buckets, and even though there's already one in there, we're gonna take the full one and bring it back for a refill. We've got no blood back here, but tons in here. Are you finished yet? You're actually gonna be a little while, so in the meantime, why don't we go hunting for other things. Like, for example, the other murder sites. We can actually get to here fairly easily. Oh, and this door is open. Thank you very much. You're the guy who tried to ride off the balcony or something. You had some kind of tricycle-related death. You know, maybe my attempt to conjure images of a toddling child having the time of their life was misguided. Although I guess we could say that, you know, if you did enjoy such things as a child, you died doing what you loved. Look, I'm just trying to look on the bright side and humanize them. If they fail to humanize themselves, that's their problem. Look at all those impacts along the wall. Okay, well, we've got lots of steak. We're gonna have lots of pizza as well. Gotta complete the set. And let's begin. You know what? I'm actually gonna, just for the sake of prettiness, bring in a UV light. Oh boy, what a mess. Thankfully with our upgrades, this all comes fairly easily. There is some carpet, but honestly, with our resistances to tough places, even the mop should be able to work pretty well on a carpet compared to the old standards, right? I mean, carpets are the new tile when it comes to detergents. There's footprints coming through here as well. We're on the edge where the light of the UV no longer reaches, and for some reason that makes it feel like I'm out of my depth. Like I ventured too far off the path, like Little Red Riding Hood. Yep. So I was thinking about this tricycle, and then 1, 2, skip a few, I started thinking about the creepy library in my elementary school. And I was going to talk about that, but I think that's given me something more relevant to talk about. You guys ever do this thing where you're in a conversation, and somebody says something that reminds you of something, that reminds you of something else, that reminds you of something else, and then you realize, oh, I can talk about this. But now, keep in mind, it's been about 1 second since you were reminded of the first thing. And now you have to take this, what seems like a totally unrelated topic, and try and introduce that. And half the time I just don't say anything at that point. But it's like, no, I swear, my brain performed like 6,000 calculations in the 2 seconds since you said your thing, and I swear I'm going somewhere with this. You can go back here. There's a low fog hanging even indoors. And we're gonna bring you up. I guess even if it's rusty, it still counts as metal, and those are the properties it applies to the ease of cleaning. Now, what's going on in the loft? Not a whole lot. It remains surprisingly comfy. Can open this, and that is how we drop down to the final one, where I guess the ritual took place. See, much like the player, I guess these cultists... Yes? I guess these cultists worship us and the blood that gets us here. You're coming with me. There's a bucket in that cabin that we can use on the way back. There is still so much to do. I haven't seen any of those shadows in a while. That doesn't mean they aren't there. Here we are. So that's another thing, is like a lot of the time something will be on screen and people later will be like, how did you not see that? And the answer is, dude, my screen is basically a wall in front of me. And so, you know, just being on my screen, that doesn't mean that's where my eyes are, especially if I'm doing a task. I'm probably looking at the thing I'm working on. This room has been thoroughly ozonated. We have a fresh bucket here. This should be a very easy clean. Oh, and let's also get a UV light for here. Stop making those demonic screeches. I know you're a cat and it's the middle of the night, but you're gonna have to hold off a bit. You ever see a cat, like, walk by with absolute intention? Like, they live in a house, they live with you, they have no natural predators, free food, no real problems. And the trade-off for that situation is that we get to boop them once in a while. Well, every once in a while, they'll be hanging out and we'll just walk up to them and be like, hey, hi, beepo beepo. And they just have to deal with that. But they get all that in return. So when they're just kind of in the house and you see them walking with clear intention in a certain direction, I always find it so funny because it's like, what do you have to do? What are you thinking about that's over there that's so important? Because if it's not your food or your litter box, I don't understand what it is you're up to. What's going on in your mind? If you heard a noise or you saw something outside the window, you'd be running. You'd be trying to get a better angle. So for you just like being on a commute and looking all serious, that is hilarious to me. That keg is just going and going and going, huh? That's the real paranormal activity. But when you think about it, pets are just funny as a concept, aren't they? Because, I mean, everything is evolution, right? Everything is constantly going through a process, I think I just saw one of them, of adapting to be the most fit to survive in the environment that is Earth. And so it's really hilarious that, you know, in the beginning we had animals that we kept around because they were useful to us, and now we reach a point where it's like, hey, you know that furry thing we saw in the woods the other day? Yeah? Can we just have one, like, in our house? Why? You'd have to, like, feed it and take care of it? Yeah, no, but I just want one, like, around. Oh, why? I want to be nice to it. Okay. This is probably all commentary that I could have done in the last part, which was about cats and the devastating effect that losing their owner has on them. I think I talked about, what was it, like seizing the means of production or something? We're looking for some chairs while we're at it. There's one on the fence. And I guess these all just go along the wall. 3 more things. Ooh. Back here is its own self-contained compartment. There's no back door. And each of those pikes is its own piece of evidence. Not just spikes, but bolts. Somebody went to town with a crossbow. Greg was here, I guess. Alright, you're coming with me. We've only disposed of about half the bodies, but something tells me we're gonna find the real massacre inside. There you go. Come on, land inside. It becomes harder and harder to actually get people to land in the truck over time. And stay there. Do we need to move these stakes? We get so much free food in this line of work. Maybe we should start bagging these things up. There we go. And white indicates that they are at 100%. You know what? Let's actually see how well this thing handles a pool of blood like that. I don't think a power washer wouldn't be the tool for the job, but we could try it. Turns out actually really quite good, and we don't have to worry about filling up the mop. There we go. This was the way to go. Oh, it is really in the sides of the thing now. You guys go someplace, and it's not right here. Let's make it happen. Let's have a look at what's going on in the real murder cabin. Unlock this door from behind, getting us all the way around. Let's, okay, there should be plenty in here to get the worst off of this pedestal. The real trouble is what's in between the stones. That's hard to get. That is actually considered all the blood in the outdoor area. The cabins are their own story. And we've got to crouch to get at these corpses. Oh, thankfully, your bloody boot prints lead us back to another place to fill up. And a giant ram skull. Wait, there's still a piece of evidence there. We're gonna have to stack stuff to get to you. Alright, may as well begin the tedious work of carrying you out. That's the problem with distance, is, you know, you're a single big thing that requires a trip across the map. And we are seeing shadows again. Oh, so here's another potential scenario for those "how didn't you see that" moments. Sometimes the thing you're talking about literally wasn't on my screen. Because there's a bit of a back and forth when it comes to the brightness. You'll sometimes hear me talk about how, like, when I'm setting the brightness in-game, I'll go a little bit higher than where I would like it to be, simply because of the recording and you guys being able to see it. So basically, the darker something is, the more it seems that recorded video will come out just a bit darker. And I think that's probably like a color profile thing. I can't really account for it, but the footage always comes out a bit darker than what I was seeing. And so sometimes what I'll do is apply an edit that boosts the shadows so that it gets closer to what I was seeing. But in reality, that makes it a little bit brighter for you guys. And so the thing that you guys can just barely see the silhouette of, it's entirely possible that I just, like, it just wasn't there for me. Because it was all obscured in darkness. Hey, look at that. If we climb up here, we can see, like, houses and buildings and towers all just intermixed in the cliffs. This might come as kind of a surprise, but do you know what some of the most difficult videos to record are on the channel? Readings. I actually hate doing them. I mean, I love to have them and be able to look back on them. They're some of my proudest work, but I hate making them because it might sound like I'm just talking in those, but that is the farthest possible thing from the case. If you look at the Vegas timeline for those, there are hundreds of cuts in, like, all of them. Because when you're trying to maintain tone and understand and, like, comprehend the story so that you get the right intonation and all, it's just constant backtracking and tripping and not being happy with, like, the way it was delivered, mouth getting dry, having a change in sitting position, leading to a change in tone, anything. Like, everything from sitting position to humidity to temperature, all of that affects voice, and I am hypercritical of all of that as I'm going. If something doesn't feel right, I'll retake it.
Is this your perfect hiding space?
Not yet, but it will be when we fall deeper into the nightmare. So the Wicked One won't find us.
I don't know if I can do it.
You have to. This is our only chance.
Talk about up to interpretation. we have another key. I'm hoping that's the key to the house. But I don't know, it looks kind of big. But yeah, reading's very difficult. Yep. And not only that, it's really difficult to find stories. I mean, I have to spend so many hours, like, scrolling through Reddit posts and X posts and such. By the way, when I say X, I'm talking about the X board on 4chan, not Twitter. I spend so much time just looking for stories. Ones that are the right length, ones that are, you know, actually creepy while not being inappropriate for the vibe of the channel. It takes a long time. Is this the key to here? It is. You're calling it the Manor. The Manor key. Okay, well... You guys are starting to watch me. Watch my progress, I mean, like you're blocking me from leaving. We are the prophesied arrival of the Wicked One. Unless we're waiting for something even bigger that's been building for this entire Nightmare campaign. And it is a Nightmare campaign, truly. I think we need to go on a world tour and retrieve all of our stuff. Because we're going to need it for this hyper-dense area. Actually, while we're here, let's look around and see what else needs immediate cleaning. Because according to this, there's still 11% trash, 3 pieces of furniture, 2 of which are probably those chairs, and there's going to be more evidence. But what can that even be? I'm just guessing, by the way, right at the outset, that these need to go here, yes. There's a chair back here. That's you. According to this, there's only 1 piece of furniture that needs to be moved back here. Oh, this is all garbage. Didn't even see it. It blended right in. At least with the flashlight on. But there's still something else. You need to go back. Yep. Up and over. At least you finally stopped spinning, right? Wait. You're there. So the next thing is probably another chair, yes. Honestly, it's the putting the furniture away that becomes the biggest deduction game. Hey, I didn't notice you before. You're bound, tied up behind the last sacrifice cabin. Wait, there's got to be some way to get to you. It wasn't through the back. There's no door here. Oh, yes, there is a way! Those boards can be broken. That's the closest we've gotten to one of those shadow people yet, isn't it? Right there. Okay, hang on. There. Goodbye. No littering. Well, now you are litter. That's the last of the evidence. And in a sane world, you'd be the last of the trash. But there's still something hiding, and it's going to be something really stupid and small. Let's go, bud. I keep thinking that that light in the ground is one of the pieces of trash being highlighted by the cleaner mode. The fact that I first saw you while bringing bodies back, it really is like the deceased are watching themselves be carried out. I mean, when you're doing this job all alone, you would have to feel some level of judgment from beyond, right? Well, we can place like with like at the very least. It's a long way from home, but this is the kind of least fun part of the game, and it really shows itself on these bigger maps, where you're just kind of running around looking for that last thing. Oh, these cheese pieces have to be put back as well. Huh. I had never figured that this would be part of it. And maybe this is part of the ritual. Maybe the mice really do control everything and the cats are just here to keep it in check. This is the plot of Rat Movie. This game seems to share a universe. But anyway, this chair goes up here. So it goes up here. The cheese goes to a similar location. That means we're still missing one cheese and one chair. The classic problem. So where is it? Oh, there's stuff over there that we need. Oh, another keg. We've also got to figure out where these kegs go. We can get behind the fence here. And here. Now, in the base game, I'm pretty sure these were all over by the pool, which is where I've been bringing them. But I can't actually find where they belong. Maybe it's in the house somewhere. I also can't see anything. Oh my god, yep. Yep. There we go. These are technically considered cleaned now. But there are still things here that we need. For example, this. And just to get them out of the way, let's bring all of these onto the table. Which will likely count as completing the ritual. No. No. We require a skull. And I actually happen to know where to find one. And normally Darwin would be up for this sort of thing, but I'm not sure if his head actually counts as a physics prop. In any case, oh, we have so much work to do. Look at that, you've been turned into an impromptu jack-o'-lantern. Cooked and flayed. You're also one of only 3 bodies we still need to get, and this has been an absolute monster of a level. These things are making me want to play Metro so much on the channel. And there you go. But honestly, it's even cooler, the thought of doing this while you're doing janitorial work. Imagine like a more serious janitor game where you just do, like, Kowalski's day job. Some of you said there should be a DLC where you do his day job, and I kind of agree. It would be kind of a funny, ironic thing, while still being as fun as the base, probably. But anyways, like, imagine just doing the night shift in, like, an office building or something and having to deal with all the weird sounds and things. Okay, I think what just happened there was the sounds of the birds and the mopping combined to create a new sound, and that sound startled me. Does that ever happen to you? Let's grab another keg. We've got 5 of these. I think there's another one out there somewhere. I was hoping it would reveal itself in the dark. Where is this chair and where is this cheese? I think it's this level probably more than any other that has actually made me feel the eyes on me. Which is an easy thing to do because that's precisely what's happening. But it really does make us the stereotypical janitor with headphones in. I mean, so much of this game is based around music, of zoning out while you work, and yet the creepy stuff is all over. It would probably be even more so if I were playing this normally and not for the channel. Okay, you can go here. Make sure this whole wall is clean. Let's just sit you back where you were. Perfect. So that's the thing with Nightmare Mode, though, is I always talked in the base game about how the reason cleaning is satisfying is that you're taking a place where there's a mess, and you're working towards this goal, and able to take it piece by piece, until eventually a place is left pristine. That same satisfaction can be had in Nightmare Mode, but it's sort of downplayed, simply because of the fact that it's only gonna be so pristine when the starting point is a cult sacrifice place and a prison camp. I mean, we can get rid of the blood, but the barbed wire stays. You know how dangerous that stuff is to take down? Alright, just beating the blood out of the curtains. There we go. Let's move you up. How's this thing holding up? I don't think it's gonna be much longer. It's starting to be very noticeably red. Didn't get a lot in that time. According to this, we've wiped about nearly 50% of all the blood in the house. We do, however, still have 2 bodies unaccounted for. 1 body unaccounted for. I love how harshly that thing was ripped out of his arms. Do you see his face just now? He was so peaceful. Whatever happened here doesn't matter because this guy was absolutely content in the end. How come every so often I'll just throw him across the car like the Incredible Hulk? Alright, there's only one more. Just go ahead and break all this stuff. Yep. There we go. And there we go. And every so often you turn around and the bloodbath ain't such a bloodbath anymore. In fact, now it just seems like a regular cult hideout. There's, however, quite a big mess in here. I honestly have no idea how this guy manages to be in such good shape, considering the mess he apparently left behind, unless, of course, it's not his blood, which invites other interesting questions. I mean, maybe that's the blood of all those he had to fight in order to keep that bowling pin. Maybe it was a high-demand item in their last moments. But still, this... what would at first seem like a massacre scene in the real world, it was actually just attributed to, well, accidents and stupidity. Here, it became an actual hunt. The nightmare version is the slaughter it would have appeared to be. Alright. Now, see, there was blood all over these delicate glass objects, and so what we had to do was put away our mop so they wouldn't get knocked over, and switch instead to our boxing gloves for greater precision. You get up there. Somebody tried to die clutching that keg.
You need to repeat the cycle. Slay them all in the name of the Wicked One.
Oh, hell. The Wicked One.
So once more, it's a bit of a reach, but I'm starting to think that this cycle is the developers having to reset the map in a different way so that there can be more blood for the Wicked One. Me. Sooner or later, we'll figure out where these kegs go. Meantime, come forward, UV. There's still 15% of a bloodbath here. And 15% of that is wine. Oh wow, it's even in the cupboard. Hey, it's the Crystal Skull from Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I don't know. You guys want my hot take Indiana Jones opinions? So, okay, if I were to rank the Indiana Jones movies from best to worst, or rather from least favorite to most favorite. We'll start that way, because it's more entertaining. Least favorite is probably, I mean, of course, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. However, after that would be Temple of Doom. After that is Temple of Doom. After Temple of Doom is Raiders of the Lost Ark, which a lot of people say that's their favorite one, and, you know, of course, it's the first, and it is really good. After that is going to be Dial of Destiny, and then Last Crusade. I could, depending on my mood, switch Dial of Destiny and Raiders, but generally, yeah, I actually think Dial of Destiny is really good. I really liked Dial of Destiny.
Can't pick up anything.
And you know what? Here's my other hot take. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I don't like it, but it is not as bad as people say. I remember seeing it in middle school and not even really liking it then. Hello, mannequin head. I guess we're disposing of you. I didn't even like it then. And I rewatched it a couple years ago, and I still thought it wasn't that good. But it was a lot better than I remember. Now, let's complete this ritual. Okay, wow, I wasn't expecting it to be this deep. I'm assuming cautiously that this won't end the level. Ancient Temple! Actually, this looks like something out of Doom. Or Voices of the Void. The Temple of the Bone Brigade. Have I served unrighteous ends? It seems so, but we had to do this. The last body is here. Huh, what a twist towards the end of this. Do I need to pick this stuff up? Like, does it actually count? Hang on. I do. I actually do have to clean the ancient temple, or it doesn't count, you guys. Okay, well, I'm hoping there's a consistent way to get to and from. I hope that door remains, because otherwise we're gonna have a problem. Come on. A skeleton and his pottery are soon parted, or something like that. Imagine being the choir of monks that gets hired to do voice work for this game. It's just all shattered pottery. Which I guess at one time would have contained these orbs. Orbs of strength, orbs of power. We're restoring light to the temple. Okay, so let's start bringing you back then. 2. 3. There you are. The last sacrifice relinquished. I'll be taking that. Oh, and this is closer now. Get on through there. Oh, I guess we need to be carrying you. Okay, I'm not even gonna bother with buckets. We're gonna clean this up with our fists the old-fashioned way. This is a hilarious skin. Yeah, we just need to get this stuff out of here. Yep, the door just works the same way. They've only made it more convenient. The kids at the school would not believe what I go through on a daily basis. I mean, traveling to some interdimensional demon portal just that I can retrieve corpses to put into my pizza truck. But it's all for a paycheck. And we There we go. It took a second to actually let me through. Now I need this bag. Once more, there's still a 3% of trash left behind. And some furniture that needs to be restored. I'm actually thinking... Yeah, the kegs definitely go here somewhere. Chairs go here. Or no, chair is here. Get out of my way, things. And Hugh. I really can't believe how much steak we're taking home. Now it's all about the furniture. Also, your sink is leaking. Maybe I can fix that while I'm here? I just had a moment where I was like, dude, you should be able to do like all kinds of handyman tasks in this game, and then I realized I'm thinking of House Flipper. That game is in such a weird place where I honestly like the cleaning and repairing stuff more than I like the house flipping. Like when it comes time to actually paint the walls and decide where furniture is gonna go, I'm like, oh man, I hate this part. There's still a garbage bag somewhere. There's where they go. All right, well, mystery solved. Once again, the day is saved, thanks to those nibbling kids. A lot of seating will probably go to right here. We've got several kegs missing in action at the moment, which is a problem, but not an immediate one. Put you here. I said here. What else is missing? We're missing a table. So you get moved over to here. Thank you. And a replacement isn't needed right there. Nope, we're actually just missing the one, so that shouldn't be too hard to acquire. We're also missing another one of these chairs, which can be found right here. I don't know what just happened. Just stop breaking, please. Let's put this over here. And we're missing things, but actually, I just noticed a door right here. And here's the final wedge of cheese. I really never expected that we would find the cheese before the chair. You can put that in the quotes channel. So basically, the play now is to walk around pressing Q like we're calling out for a lost dog. We're missing one keg and one chair on this entire map. There's the keg. And we didn't even need detective mode. Ever since the Arkham games, it'll always just be detective mode. Actually, there it is over there. It's actually one we interacted with in the beginning. I had completely forgotten about this corner. It uses fences in this level to really cordon things off so that it's a maze and not just different areas to unlock. Makes it really easy to forget that certain areas even exist. Now, let's put you here. And just like that, I believe we're all good. I mean, it definitely still looks like a cult hideout. I mean, we left a portal here that wasn't here before. I feel like the Scouts camping code prohibits that? Is it considered natural? I don't know. But yeah, according to this, the ancient temple is complete. Outdoor is complete. If the cabins are complete also, then we are all good. Let's head out.
So many signs. No one to care.
We'll care. We'll care. And there we go. And there was no big crazy thing to find the music box. And that's because the big crazy portal to another dimension was actually part of the main quest this time around. Who'd have thought? The demonic lamp set. We got demon lamps. Nobody can say that this job didn't hook us up. Oh, I can't wait to try it. I can't wait to try it. And look, presumably we can bring these skins into like the regular game too, right? Oh, it is going to be so much fun revisiting the old levels. Dexter.
Daddy's working for a mob boss, but you're still a good boy.
I'm not sure we still are working for a mob boss. Big Jim's in jail. I'm working for Beelzebub himself. And I'm loving it because he offers way better benefits. And if you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy and comfy content. If you have any ideas for other videos you think I should do, the best place to suggest that will be at the Discord, which I will link in the description. If you want to try this game out for yourself, that link will also be in the description. If you want to support me on Patreon, that link will be in the description. And as always, I will see you in the next one.